Hi everyone, my name is Cassie and this is my channel, The Bookish Four Eyes. I haven't posted in a long time and I really apologize for that, but I promise now I will try to post more regularly and hopefully do it every weekend. So I'll have like one video a week or something like that. So this is my August 2016 reading wrap-up. I've done horribly after my really good month in July, and I only managed to read 3 books this month. I know that's not enough and I wanted to read way more, but I'm just gonna go with it. So the first book that I read is called Sex Object by Jessica Valenti, and this is a book about her sharing her stories as a woman and all the experiences that she's had, and I have to say most of them are very negative. She talks about awkward encounters on the subway, just men doing awkward little things, and just really weirding her out. And she also talks about her dating history and just brings it all together in a lot of things that she had to deal with. I enjoyed that book because I think it's always interesting to hear about other people's experiences and what they've had to put up with and what kind of things that they came across. The thing for me that I didn't necessarily like about it was the fact that I couldn't really relate, just because I haven't had a lot of those really extreme, horrible experiences. Like, for example, the subway thing that stood out to me is that I've never had an awkward encounter there yet. I mean, there's lots of weird people on the subway, but I just haven't had someone do something incredibly weird, so weird that I would just like feel very uncomfortable. But I definitely appreciated hearing that side of the story and really getting to know that, you know, people do all sorts of crazy stuff. I ended up giving this book 4 stars, and I think that if you like books about feminism and women's issues and things like that, I think this would be a very good book to read. I know she's written other books and I'm really curious to pick them up, so I will probably give those a read as well. The next book that I read was End of Watch by Stephen King, and this was the last book in his Bill Hodge trilogy. And it was like the final conclusion to the craziness that was going on. I have to say that I felt a little bit underwhelmed with it. I give it 4 stars just because I feel like it came together nicely in the end, but I expected something more from it, and I think that the very first book in the series was amazing, and the second book was sort of not really related to anything to do with the first or the third book. It had a story that was completely just out of the blue, just popped in, was about nothing, and then the third book sort of concluded it pretty well. I guess it was just like back on track. If you haven't read this trilogy, it's about a young man named Brady who is, you know, he's pretty crazy. He's killed a bunch of people a few different times, and then he ended up sort of in a coma of sorts. Anyways, I don't want to give too much away if you haven't read the series, but it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best Stephen King book, this one, or any of the first one I recommend. I think I liked it the best. But if you are a fan of Stephen King's writing, it's not a bad. Those 3 books, they're pretty quick reads, so if you don't feel like reading, if you don't have anything to read, it's a good option. But overall, I think it was tied up really neatly in the end, and the ending was kind of good and bad at the same time, but you'll have to read it for yourself. Last but not least, I read Modern Lovers, which I've heard a lot about, and I've actually read The Vacationers before, and I was not a fan of it, so I was a little hesitant to pick this one up. And for good reason, because I ended up giving it only 3 stars, because I feel like her books are about nothing. Like, there's not really a plot, there's not really anything going on. Like, this book was about 3 friends. One of their friends was a celebrity for a little while, and then she died. And then they also have kids at this point. So they've grown up knowing each other. Their kids are now friends, and there's like all kinds of romance and just lifestyle type things. But it's just, I feel like the characters are always flat. This was the second book that I've read by her. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't care about any of the characters. Like, I didn't care if what happened with their husbands, what happened with their wives. Like, it was just not a book where the characters are very deep and very, you know, just genuine people. These guys were just, I don't know, they all had their little issues, but it was like very minor in my opinion. Like, I couldn't take any of it seriously. So overall, if you like The Vacationers and you like her style of writing, then I would recommend that book. So if it's kind of a mindless read almost, and honestly I've been reading it and like I was picking it up and I was like, oh, I guess I'll read it now, just because it's just something to do. Her writing's easy to read and it's one of those books, but in a grand scheme of things the ending was okay. Like I didn't really care one way or another, so just do with that what you will. And please let me know if you've read any of these books that I've talked about, and also please let me know whether August was a good reading month or a bad reading month for you. And also, I'm planning on doing a giveaway next week, just because I feel like there's lots of new people here on the channel, and I haven't done a proper giveaway, so I think it's about time. And I won't tell you what I'm planning on giving away. I think there's going to be a book and a little something extra on the side, so just stay tuned for my video next week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an awesome September, and I'll see you next time.